do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Kicks to Harden, fires from the corner.
Jawel, ik zit hier op de bank en het is een hele fijne bank en het is ook nog eens een keer een fijn moment, want ik heb net gehoord dat ik de derde journalist worldwide ben die met NBA 2K16 aan de slag kan. En naast mij zit Rob Jones, hij is de grote man achter deze game van 2K Sports. En hij gaat me eerst even uitleggen hoe het allemaal werkt. Ik bedoel, ik weet wel hoe NBA werkt, maar er zijn natuurlijk heel veel nieuwe dingen. Ik ben ook niet zo goed. Het is echt een fucking lastige game en ik wil het gewoon goed leren. Dus hij gaat mij gewoon een hoop dingen vertellen. Ik ga zelf even spelen en daarna gaan we hem interviewen. Well, Rob, first of all, you play with Golden State Warriors, which is my most hated team, but whatever. Just tell me a little bit, what are there any things that changed?
There's a lot of things that change in the game. First things that you'll see is how clean our movement is this year.
Yeah.
One of the things that we really worked hard this year on is getting all the players to move in space in a way that they understood what everybody else is doing. So one thing that you'll notice is when you see a player move off of a screen or when they shift, they all kind of know where they're supposed to be moving,
Yeah.
and they move knowing what that space is. Whereas before it was more just a general movement model.
Yeah.
Now everything is more in the context of, hey, I need to move around the three-point line, or
Yeah.
I'm cutting to the basket. And they also are very aware of what their teammates are doing, so that when you see movement, it makes sense to what the action
Yeah.
that you're seeing on the court is
They
as
double
well.
team when they need to double team. So they have more like a mind of themselves. That's what everybody aiming for an AI, that they think themselves. Like,
They think better in relation. You see how like Steph Curry just came around that pick?
Yeah.
Before, the game wasn't really aware of the type of movement that you would have based on what your teammate is doing
yeah,
for you.
he would
And that's-
probably just hit the player and it's like, okay, you're there, what I have to do, and now
Right.
he's going around it.
Right. So now everybody is working as a group.
Yeah.
And so because they work as a group, you see more natural movement from everybody. So
Okay.
they also have much better spacing, as you can tell. They're giving me the space that I need to operate with Klay Thompson here, who then took a terrible shot, unfortunately. I need to be playing better. The control just on defense is a lot tighter. We were very deliberate in terms of capturing more player-specific type of animations, so that you have more of their reactions, especially the way you kind of know how Steph reacts certain
Yeah.
things. I mean, I don't know if you saw any of our trailers. I mean, we have him perfect down to the mouthpiece that he likes to wear.
Yeah.
So
Puts out of his mouth
Yep.
all the time. Yeah.
So, and then we made the game a lot smarter. The game understands who I'm using and how I'm winning, and it plays me accordingly, and it takes advantage. I was actually
Yeah. You forgot to
I forgot to send my center back
to
down.
mask off.
Yep. So so one of the things that makes for a more dynamic thing, because what we used to do is be very generic in terms of how we approach the strategy of a game.
Yeah.
Now it dynamically changes both on offense and on defense. The coaches understand what types of players they have on the court. So let's say, for example, when LeBron's on the court, they're going to do a certain thing, but when
They space more, so to give him
stuff,
Yeah.
to give him an isolation. But let's say you switch out and you now have a different lineup that needs to rely more on ball movement.
Yeah.
The AI will adjust their
okay,
type
yeah.
of strategy, because they now realize, hey, LeBron's not on the court anymore, so we're not going to do the isolation stuff.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
much.
Okay.
So, and on defense the same way. The defenders, the AI defenses know what their opponent is and what the strategy. So the coach may have a really basic strategy for most teams, but then let's say they're playing against the Clippers and they have to stop Chris Paul in one
Yeah.
specific way because they're so good at running pick and roll. Then they will adjust
Yeah.
specifically to stop Chris Paul.
Okay.
So, one of the examples that I've shown people, it's like, remember Della Vedova in the final
Yeah.
was shadowing Steph Curry full court.
Yeah.
Because that's the way he plays defense.
Yeah.
And in the game, we're doing that.
Okay.
Or I don't know if you noticed, this is the first year when LeBron came down, I was playing defense on him,
Yeah.
and his matchup was Klay Thompson.
Okay.
Well, before we used to do matchups just based on
Position of where
on the position of
Yeah.
the player. Now we actually do the matchups on defense based on the actual need of the team.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So, come on, Barbosa.
But-
There we- oh, bad pass.
The danger will be that it has always been a tough game. You know, defense was always like already great. Now it's getting even more difficult. That where you find the balance between fun and realism.
Well, actually, that was one of the bigger things, is that what we found by making the game more authentic is that, you know, every time you make one choice, you always give up an alternative. So by making the game more realistic, we were able to make it more fun, because now as a user, if you recognize what the defense is giving you,
Yeah.
you can still have success. But the game now is to figure out what is the defense actually giving you as your advantage.
Yeah.
Before, to balance the game, we would just make the defense extra tough, meaning like, you know, you wouldn't make as many shots, or
Yeah.
things were just tougher, and that's not fun.
No.
Fun is, you know, being able to be successful once you figure out what you need to do to be successful, and that's what
That's true.
we've been able to actually create this year with this this game.
But you need some basic basketball knowledge, and that's from a perspective from the Netherlands. You know, Europe. In America, everybody eats, sleeps, drinks basketball.
True.
Here in Holland, I always promote this game like it's the best sports game there is. But still, everybody's playing FIFA soccer
Correct.
because we know. So, how do you try to get the European player?
You have more plays like that.
Okay, the
You have more spectacular plays.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, you know, NBA basketball is very spectacular in terms of what users see. When
Yeah.
you know, when you see the highlights, you know, you don't see the regular, you know, the regular power play. You see the spectacular three-point shot. You see the great dunk by LeBron.
Yeah.
So you need more moments like that to actually happen in the game. And what we've done is we've struck a very good balance
Yeah.
of strategy versus fun. So that when you play with LeBron, who is virtually unstoppable, right, in real life,
Yeah.
he feels like LeBron. He feels like you can't stop him. And because of that, it makes the game a lot more fun
Okay.
overall. So
So why did you last year at the EuroLeague then? Like, because it's a completely different type of basketball. It's more, you know, the 28 seconds, and
Yep.
it's more passing, and it's 70 against 69 instead of like 128 against 99. So is that because of certain countries they really wanted the EuroLeague, or?
well, no, I think it was knowing that you know, people are passionate about their teams, and in Europe more so than in the U.S.
Yeah.
You know, you have a situation where you are going to be more passionate just because that team represents your city. And in
Okay.
the EuroLeague being the highest level of basketball in Europe,
Yeah.
we wanted to make sure that we represented it for those fans. And so you know, we just found that in this market, we needed to really get the hardcore basketball fans to start playing the game first.
Yeah.
Because once you get the hardcore guy, he's the guy that's going out and talking about the game
Absolutely.
for you.
Yeah.
So, you know, and the hardcore guys know what the EuroLeague teams do.
Yeah.
They know which ones of their players go to the NBA,
Okay.
and they follow the game day to day.
Yeah. You can play NBA against the EuroLeague.
You
team,
can.
But then, how do you match the balance? Because in normal life they get, I don't say blow away, but you know, if the Cavs or you know Oklahoma really plays well against a Russian team or a Turkish team, it's, you know, 30, 40 points difference.
Right. What we did is we tried to make all the teams relative strength, you know, but we didn't abuse the ratings on the EuroLeague teams from a standpoint that they wouldn't be fun,
Yeah.
because otherwise you don't want to play with the team.
Okay.
But the flip side is, you know, the teams in the U.S. are more physical, they're faster, they're stronger, and so we relate that.
Yeah.
Whereas the European teams are, generally more team-oriented and more, and I don't want to say more skillful, but just as skillful as their counterparts.
Yeah, they're
in many
great
ways.
shooters and
Right.
stuff. Yeah, yeah. So did you ever, FIFA this year introduced like women for the first time?
Yes.
Did you ever think about the WNBA to add it in?
We have considered it, and we've tried to figure out, how do we do even just in the in our MyCareer / MyPlayer creations. How do can we bring women into the game? And it's still on the table, but the impact of the WNBA on the game when the NBA is such the focus we're not sure how much value we'd get out of it quite yet.
Yeah.
But we're still researching to see whether or not we can pull that off.
Eventually, one day it will
Yep.
be there. Yeah, yeah, cool. So is it hard? Like, NBA 2K is always like the dominant. There is no competition at the moment. NBA Live is struggling. Last few years you had 9+ scores, and sometimes being that good and lacking competition, that keeps sometimes make people lazy. It's just lean back and we're the best and whatever. How do you motivate yourself to improve on something that is already quite good?
Well, for one thing, there's more than enough sports games out there that are doing a great job in their field, and we want to be the best sports game out there every year.
Okay.
So, just looking at those games and seeing what they're doing better than us is important. But then secondly, we realize that that being good means always innovating and always improving on your craft.
Yeah.
In our model, what we really want to try to achieve is what we see on television, the real guys.
Yeah.
And basketball over the years has been the one game that has had what I consider the longest road to get to replicate what you really, really see in the in real life. And I think we still have a lot of room to grow in the team, the gameplay guys, and the presentation people, and our franchise general manager type guys. We all see that we're still not quite replicating NBA basketball or the NBA experience to 100%.
Okay.
And as long as there's that gap between us and the game, we're going to keep working really, really hard.
Yeah, I see already, I listen to you, but I see a lot of cool things because atmosphere is always one of the, I think the most attractive thing about the NBA series. Like, I have been to the Knicks, I have been in watching basketball in LA. The audience, but also the halftime show. I saw like the interviews from the sidekick, mostly a woman. How coach, what do you change in the second half? So what did you add? Some new stuff or?
Well, you did see. You just saw the snippet right there during the interview where they were interviewing LeBron. So that thing is brand new in presentation.
Okay. Cool.
We really went out of our way to work on crowd reactions and making them feel that the big moments in the game really stand out. So if it's tight near the end of the game, you'll see them standing up. It's all those things that kind of bring those games to life from a crowd perspective. And then the players and their reaction as well now are conditioned by time and score. And those things we wanted to really bring to the forefront as well.
Yeah.
Because last year, you'd win a game and then you'd get the guy go like this, and it was it was kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah.
And we wanted to make sure that really stood out.
It's like crowds going crazy when you're like 30 points behind. It's like, that's cool. In the MyCareer mode, you use Spike Lee as a director.
Yep.
I don't know if you can show already stuff.
Now that your career is progressing and your brand is growing, you will be challenged with managing increasing demands off the court. In between games, you'll have decisions to make on how to spend your off days. Will you refine your skill on the court and work on increasing your attributes in live practices? Do you want to earn fame and extra money by partnering with global brands? Or would you rather establish personal connections with some of the game's most influential personalities, which bring with them a variety of rewards? The choice is yours.
I was wondering, like, I think it's a cool thing to use like a director, especially Spike Lee, because he's a cool guy, and he knows basketball, although he supports the wrong team. But anyway, to use him to add like more like a storyline in the game. But where do you find the balance between? I like the storyline. For instance, in racing, I like a storyline, but I don't like to watch like minutes of CGIs when
Right. When you want to play.
Yeah, I want to play because it's
Yeah.
a great race or I'm high in the competition. So how did you find the balance there, and how did Spike Lee do that?
Well, the important thing is that you feel involved in the storyline altogether. And that was actually one of the hardest things for us because, we've been doing story for 2 years, right? This is our third year doing a story. And the question was, how do you make it feel authentic to the user?
Yeah.
How do you make the user feel like he's invested in his storyline? And getting Spike was important to that because, he can tell a story way better than a video game producer can write one.
Yeah.
So he went out of his way to kind of paint this story about being a guy that's trying to make it to the NBA and all of his trials and tribulations, not only on the court but off the court as well. So it's even though it is a lot CGI and movie driven, I think that most users are going to be really happy to have a narrative placed around their game that isn't just a random short cutscene that just kind of seems to be kind of just thrown in there just because.
Did he like the job? Because like when you're a movie director, it's your vision, it's your idea. But well, here he has to. There are so many variables. Like you can win or you can lose, and a game directing a game is totally different than directing a movie.
Right, but he didn't. He directed the movie experience within my career, but he had to build it around how the game worked.
Okay.
So so what we did was that we went in and we said, okay, these are the things that we want to achieve. These are kind of the mechanics that we want to hit in my career.
Yeah.
And then so we gave him those guidelines, and then he painted a story around those guidelines that made a lot of sense. So
He's a gamer, or
he's not a gamer, although he understands it. From that standpoint. And beyond that, like a very good professional person, what he did was he actually looked to see what we had done in 14 and 15 to understand how people were interacting with our game before before this year. So he didn't go in there blind. He went in there with background. He went in there knowing, hey, these guys have already done a story.
Yeah.
What can I bring that's different? And he, and like I said, he carved something that I feel is a lot more unique, and it's unique to sports games.
Yeah.
What we've done this year. So.
And the My Player mode now has the possibility. I think the My Player mode is like the most popular that you can.
It is.
Yeah, and now you can play 5 against 5 in a real match, or that's.
You can play in 2K Pro-Am. We have a new mode that lets you go in with your friends and instantly matchmake and play in kind of in an NBA setting.
Yeah.
So NBA rules, NBA timeouts, anything that you want, referees. Because while we introduced the park before, people wanted to have that NBA experience. They wanted the full simulation. And that's actually our biggest fans, the ones that come back every year, come back to us because we're the best simulation game out there. Not because, they can't get a basketball experience, but they can actually feel like they're playing exactly like they would if they were playing on an NBA court.
But do they play against like 5 other real life players?
So what they do, or they play against the mic player. It's teams of My Career guys. So I create myself in the game, and then start playing in the career. Whoa, what a big dunk! We start playing in the My Career, but then I can invite you, and you can bring your player, and then some other friends, and we can go in, we match make directly, and we're 5-on-5 playing against another 5 players that another 5 guys who have their players too.
Okay.
So it's really, really fun because
Yeah.
you know, and this year, you know, for the past few years we had done away with using a lot of leaderboards, but this year we brought them back, and so there's leaderboards. There's, you know, you'll want to see yourself at the top when you're competing at that point.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we're doing customization within that mode, so you can customize your arena, your uniforms, and so you can come out. You can even upload your own logo to use in the game. So people will create their own identities and go out there and compete.
Is it like you had this in FIFA also, that you can play like more co-op style, and they had this mode like 11 against 11, but the problem is that everybody wants to be the striker and nobody the defense. So are you not afraid that people just don't play basketball like they should do, or everybody's just dribbling and nobody's passing? Or
the important thing for us is to create a balance in the positions, so that when people are creating themselves, you know, they realize that there's pros and cons to being different types of players.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody can be LeBron James, not everybody can be Kevin Durant, you know, but people will choose to bring teams full of, you know, 6'8" shooting, you know, small forwards, or all point guards, or all centers, you know. And you know, what they'll find is that if they play well together, they might be successful. But if they don't, then, you know, then they'll change and they'll adapt to actually playing well. What you all usually see is that if you find a team that has good balance in terms of positions and skills, and then when they play together the right way, they usually end up being the winners.
Yeah.
You know, the guys who sit there and what we like to say, try to cheese, are the ones that end up, you know, losing more often than not. So.
Okay. Yeah. We have to tackle a difficult point because, like, it's a great game, but last year and the year before, you struggle a little bit with the server thing, and a lot of modes, even in the offline, were dependable on.
They depended on the online being on.
So many people ask me, like, we love the game, but the last 2 years, you know, we struggled. Like, what will you do to prevent this from happening again?
Well, the big problem for us is that a lot of times we don't really know right at the beginning, you know, and we've been kind of taken aback by the amount of load that we have coming into the game when it releases and when people play. So what'll happen usually is that the first month or so, we have been struggling in terms of, hey, there's too many people hitting us and we just can't handle it. This year we're obviously expanding our server reach to ensure that doesn't happen. You know, but if you notice, then past that first month, it usually stabilizes and ends up being the right way.
But,
so our problem is, you know, is that a first impression is the first impression.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what we're working the hardest at this year, is making sure that, you know, when you first get the game and when we're at our highest load, that we are going to be steady. And
because you don't want to wait a month. And so I'm just wondering, how does it feel when you're in the office and you know, the game you worked on so hard, and then you see the problems, and, you know, 10 years ago, nobody, you know, there was no Twitter, there was no Facebook.
Right.
Now it's just slamming
it's almost,
right in your face.
It's immediate. We like to say it's immediate vitriol.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's you know, it keeps you on your toes, because it makes you realize that you aren't perfect, because you can't sit there and have, you know, a great game every year and then have situations like that kind of mar the experience for the user and kind of hide the quality that's behind everything else that you've done. So, you know, it's humbling in a way, right? You know, but we work as hard as we possibly can to address every single situation.
Yeah. Okay, cool. How do the players cope with, you know, the game? I know, like, a lot of football players in Holland or worldwide, they love to play FIFA or Pro Evo, and they like to be in the game, and they use it their stats, like, I'm not good enough, and what is this? and is that competition also like in the NBA? Like, of course, LeBron has the highest stats, but there's like, maybe Chris Paul is calling you like, no way, my shooting is better than you. Usually the superstars feel pretty good about where they are. It's the guys who are up and coming Really?
and that just don't. They haven't really established themselves yet.
Yeah.
You know, their stats belie that they're not superstars. But when you tell them, hey, you're only like a 75, they're like, what do you mean I'm only a 75? You know,
They
so
mail you or they phone you? Or?
they'll hit
Twitter,
us on
okay,
Twitter
yeah, really.
or Instagram and say, hey, you know what? My 3-point shooting is better than that, or you know, and we just point them to the stats because
Yeah.
ultimately that's really all we use, right?
Yeah.
We're not making anything up.
Yeah. And how do you do it with the visuals? Like, you know, in FIFA they have like the top players, because they have so much more teams. The top players, they look alike. But then they have like the regular Chinese guys, the regular black guy with 2 hairstyles. Here everybody looks like it, but even like the tattoos. How do you all the tattoos? You have like a picture, or do they send like?
No, we are this year we did body scans. We went in.
But from all the players, or?
We took our we have a truck that goes to every team.
Really?
They go around to
Full nudity?
I'm hoping not.
Okay.
You know, but they go in there, and you know, one of the things that you'll notice is for the first time ever in our game, we actually have completely different body sizes.
Yeah.
Because we scanned every individual person and figured out what their body shape and their you know, whether you're kind of a wiry guy like Steph Curry or you're a big strong guy like LeBron. We used to just scale you.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
But now every individual player has their individual body type. So that changes everything. But that's how we got the tattoos as well. When we went in doing all the body scans, we also scanned out all the tattoos and stuff.
Jesus, that's a lot of work. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
What's your favorite team?
Well, the team that I support more
Yeah.
than anything is the Pistons. And that's because I'm from Detroit originally.
You have a tough time.
Yes, I'm having a very tough time right now.
Okay.
But I don't use them in the video game because otherwise I'd probably
Yeah.
lose every time. So, and I'm a very sore loser when it comes down to it.
And which team do you think has the biggest shot at the championship this year in the NBA? Of course, like the Golden State Warriors are great. They have the same team, but you know the Cavs they didn't have Kevin Love, and
Right.
Irving was injured a little bit. So
I'm actually going to say that my dark horse for the championship this year is San Antonio. I think that they've really strengthened themselves in the
Yeah.
offseason. And, you know, and obviously any team that's got Popovich as a coach also has a really good chance at winning.
yeah,
You know, but obviously Golden State and Cleveland are forerunners to go back. Actually, when I went to Vegas, I put money on Golden State repeating.
okay,
Just because.
yeah.
You know, I figure, right? It's like it'll give me a little bit more incentive to be a fan in my own in the town that I live in.
Yeah, my team is the Clippers. Do you think they have a strengthened backcourt now? They have some great players, I think, more depth. Do you think they have a shot?
I think they have a shot, you know, but I still think that they're kind of a couple of pieces away because they struggle with consistency. You know,
Yeah.
once Blake is sitting or Chris Paul is sitting, they have a little bit of discrepancy of the people that are coming in. So like, let's say, you know, early in the game, a lot of times they try to get JJ Redick going.
Yeah.
But if JJ Redick doesn't get going, then the rest of their game struggles for them.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, you see Golden State, and they are able to ride 3, 4, 5 different people in games.
Yeah.
Cleveland's the same way, right? I mean, obviously they had to really lean on LeBron in
Yeah,
the
and
finals because
was
of the
like,
injury.
Yeah.
But you know, as that chemistry comes together, and those
Yeah.
3 guys are all equal threats, you know, and then you have a J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert that are kind of complementary guys.
Yeah.
So you have 3 guys that you can kind of build around always, and then you have other guys that can come in and give you 20 points at any particular moment in time too.
And what is the most used team in NBA 2K15? Because, of course, many people like LeBron James, but also I know many people like the Clippers because of the Lob City, because
Lob
of the
City,
spectacular
yep.
dunks. You know, you
Yep.
play this game because you want to smash the ball. So, from the stats, you know which team they use the
I
most?
think last year it was Cleveland first, and then actually the Warriors were the second team.
Okay.
Everybody really, really liked the way they played.
Yeah.
And you know, and once you start winning, everybody's on your bandwagon.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Do you think it's important that big cities like New York and LA, that the Lakers and the Knicks, if they can become better because they have like shitty teams now, do you think like that you can sell more NBA games because more people watch the games and get excited?
I think that the market suggests that, you know, it's important for those cities to have great teams.
Yeah.
But, you know, but the flip side is that I think that the NBA has done a really good job with all of their marks. So the important thing is to have marketable superstars and really exciting play.
Yeah.
I was watching a video on YouTube yesterday of LeBron, and he was watching a rerun of a championship. I think he was watching the Lakers. Who was he watching? The Lakers. I forget the other team. But he was sitting there and he was rattling off the lineups.
Okay.
And he goes, these teams were phenomenal. It was the Lakers and the Blazers.
Okay, yeah.
And he goes, these teams were absolutely phenomenal. It was the West Conference Finals between the Lakers and the Blazers. And he's sitting there and he goes, you know, they had Rasheed Wallace, they had all these superstars on the Blazers.
Yeah.
They had Pippen on that team. And then he looks over at the Lakers and he's like, Kobe and Shaq. And he was like, you know, the teams were deeper.
Yeah.
And they had more stars all together, all across. So, and that's what you kind of need to be able to market.
Absolutely. But about the marketing, like you chose this year 3 cover stars, like Curry, Davis, and Harden.
Yep.
And I thought like they're cool guys, but they're more or less like new kids on the block and not that like, you know, they have not this personality like LeBron. So why did you choose them and not like, for instance, I like Griffin, not
Right.
because he's the Clippers, but he's a guy, you know, on television and the commercials, he's great. So why you pick them?
Well, you know, for one thing, we pick not only popularity, we pick popularity, we pick the person, right? And you couldn't ask for a better spokesperson than Steph Curry. I mean, MVP of the league.
Yeah.
Just a budding superstar for years and years to come. You know, everybody can kind of envision themselves. And ultimately, he was the quote unquote, for what he did, he's an underdog if you think about it, right? Everybody sits there and they look at him and they're like, hey, he's only like 6'2". I can be as good as him if I put in the work.
Yeah.
You know, he's likable. You know, you've seen you've seen all the press conferences with the daughter. So there's kind of a natural, and you notice the crowd, they're all reacting now because it's only 8 seconds. It was kind of a natural thing with him. James Harden had a phenomenal year carrying the Rockets.
Yeah.
You know, not only carried the Rockets, he carried the USA last year. So, you know, and Anthony Davis is going to be probably the top player in the league within 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're looking at it from the standpoint, it's all upside for us. You know, there's established guys and we've used them already as well. So, you know, bringing the new is just as important because you're seeing a passing of the torch here, you know, not immediately, but you're seeing a changing of who the faces are in the league. So
maybe we were like a little bit too old already, that we saw Larry Bird playing Magic Johnson, and these guys only have like a legacy of 2 years, and they have like 10, 15 years, and okay, cool.
Oh, last play. 50-50.
Oh, yeah.
50-50.
Okay, everybody's standing. Cool.
Steph.
Ooh, too far.
Game. Oh, Steph! Steph!
Cool.
I gotta go to overtime now.
Did you scan also all the cheerleaders, or did you scan
We
them
didn't
all?
scan the cheerleaders. But we have scanned one or two body types just to make sure. But we didn't. Oh, bad pass! Don't do that. Ooh,
So everybody in the office say, I do the cheerleaders.
No, but you know, it's kind of interesting that you say that. Everybody's really interested to go seeing the cheerleaders when we go record the dancers.
Do you have like different dances, or do they like do, you know?
We bring the crew from the Kings.
Oh, the Kings, okay.
Yeah.
And then the mascots, you know, the birds and the...
We've also brought the mascot in as well.
Oh,
so.
wow, yeah.
Not all of them,
Are they pros?
because they're pros.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Nobody recognized them on the streets, but
Yep, but under the mask, everybody knows who they are.
yeah. Some are like famous.
I can't believe I missed that free throw. I needed that.
Oh, you have to concentrate.
So, keep LeBron. So
Yeah,
notice
yeah,
Klay
yeah,
Thompson.
yeah,
Klay
yeah.
Thompson is lined up.
Yeah.
That's new because last year it would have been.
Yeah. Oh, that was stupid. Yeah.
Oh, why did you move out the
They
way?
did a great play. That all the 4 players, you know, they just okay.
They let
LeBron
him
just
isolate.
score.
I'm gonna have to work some Splash Brother magic here.
Yeah. No, you don't want the ball to Bogut in that spot. No. Oh yeah.
Come on.
Double teamed.
Oh,
5 seconds. 4.
He's got 14
Oh.
step short.
Too short.
And I
You
just
have
need
to force it a little bit.
No, I need to concentrate on some defense here.
Yeah. Oh, they.
Double
Yeah.
him, double him, double him. Oh,
No.
good miss.
Oh, and a foul.
And one.
Oh shit. Oh, look at him.
Oh.
Flexing his muscles.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, you put it in the game yourself, so.
Yeah, I know. It's really frustrating right now. Losing to the AI is just not cool.
Uh-huh.
You know, they're gonna make fun of me at the office when I get back.
He flashes to the rim there.
Cause I'm down 6.
Golden State's gone 5 of 10 from downtown tonight. 50% exactly.
Moscow. Underestimated player, Moscow.
Yeah, actually,
Pretty solid.
I actually liked him a lot. I thought that I didn't understand why they stopped using him
Yeah.
in
You played at Knicks, I think, or.
good foul.
Ooh. You have like fatigue, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And that's what they're feeling right now.
Yeah.
But they're also putting in their best lineup right now just to try to win the game
Wow.
out. So at any point in time, if you want to get to, one of the great things is we added full control of passing now.
Yeah.
So if you hit this button, he'll choose best pass.
Okay.
But if you tap this as bounce,
Yeah.
and if you do the top one, it's a lob.
Okay.
So now if you want an alley-oop, you double tap. So you get a regular lob,
Yeah.
or you get an alley-oop with the double tap. So
Yeah, I'll play a game
Fun
after
play.
this. I always have struggled a little bit, like in the beginning,
okay,
because I
we
play
got-
a
we
lot
need-
of football games. Yeah, I like to play NBA, but when I go online against Americans, I get just like smashed all the time because they play it like FIFA, like
Yeah, they play a
every
lot.
day.
They play a lot. So when I go play FIFA, I get smashed.
Yeah.
That's my problem, is I don't play enough of that. Although, I feel like I got up to League 3 in FIFA seasons
Okay, well,
last year, so
that's not bad.
it's not bad.
Is 2K Sport thinking about like just expanding to other sports? Like football is getting really, really huge in America now.
Yeah.
And Pro Evo is, I don't know what's Konami doing. FIFA is really like, of course, is the biggest, but you can make really great sports games. So
We keep thinking about those things, but it's like it'd be tough to jump into the FIFA PES kind
Yeah.
of rivalry. It's already 2 great games.
yeah,
So we just have to pick the right thing,
yeah,
and put ourselves to doing our best with that. So
yeah. I think they. No, it was like EA doing the college basketball
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
But there's no more college games
No.
at all now. So
Okay.
that's a licensing issue.
Ah, really?
Yeah, there was that whole thing where the one kid sued the NCAA because
Okay.
of his image, but he wasn't getting any money. So it's become, the
Yeah.
NCAA's had kind of a thorny time of it. Good, I needed
Yeah.
that end one. I don't know that I can come back. But
62-53 with 22
Yeah.
seconds. It's like, wow. And there is no Hacker Jordan here.
no Hacker Jordan,
No.
and they don't have a Jordan that I
You
can
have
hack.
this also in the game, like Hacker Jordan. A team can go to Hacker Jordan, or
We have that. We can put that strategy in.
Okay.
That's one of the things that's great, is that we can actually do dynamic strategies based on
Yeah.
what we see teams do. Come on, you brought in the scrubs.
I hope they
they're
change
gonna
that
go to
because
line.
it's like so stupid. I don't.
Yeah.
He has to score.
Well, it's
yeah.
I understand the strategy, but it's not really elegant.
No,
is it?
no. It's like it's just keep. Yeah. Well, it was Stephen McHale, I think, last year that he did like 12 times in a row or so. He just hacked him. I don't know. It
Yeah.
was like in the semifinals with
Yep.
the Clippers or something like that. Like, And then he made almost all his free throws. That
Which was
the
good.
fun. Yeah.
You know, but you know, it was great because
Yeah.
it taught them not to, you know, not to do it.
Yeah.
You know, the flip side is if you know that that person's going to get hacked, you can also just sub them out because it's, you know, and
Yeah,
bring
but
somebody
then
in that they won't.
the problem with the Clippers was like Jordan's defense
Yeah.
so good,
Yep.
and they had no backup.
Yeah, so they're going to be better off this year, I think.
Yeah.
I'm happy it actually went back. You know, I know,
Yeah,
I know that there was all those fines and stuff that
Yeah.
came from it, but
You already
know,
put him like in Dallas Mavericks clothes and stuff in
Yeah.
the game, and then you have to.
Well, we actually didn't do that. We were just waiting.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. It didn't matter for us.
So you
For
have
us,
like a
it's just-
deadline. Okay, this is the day that because they're still trading with, you know, when do you say like, okay, now it's final?
Well, we can keep trading all the time.
Yeah, with
So
the
we,
patches and
we,
stuff.
we will usually have, you know, we'll usually find ourselves kind of out of date when we ship,
Yeah.
and then we make the changes after that. So I ended up losing
Yeah. Well,
7 points.
you did great because you talk all the time, so it's difficult gaming and talking. Okay. Well,
All right,
I'll try.
wanna try it?
Yeah, I'll try one.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building,
And Davis, here we go.
Ik ga nu een potje spelen Clippers tegen Philadelphia. Ja, mijn favoriete team. Hoop dat ze dit jaar wat verder komen dan vorig jaar. Ze hebben wat meer ingekocht. Goede bank. Lab City. En nou ja, goed, ik ga waarschijnlijk gewoon zuigen wat dat betreft.
A couple of things
Yeah.
since you're a Lob City guy.
Oké.
Double tap triangle to throw an alley-oop.
Aha.
LB is where your pick and roll, your screen call is now. It's not
Okay.
on. It's not on circle. Remember?
Oké, yeah.
So if you want to call for the screen now, you have to hold
Really? Okay. Well,
LB.
I'll struggle all the way, so whatever.
Starting at small forward, at 6'9" inches, number 33, Robert Covington. At the other guard position, at 6'6" inches, number 1.
Hacker Jordan already starting.
First thing I have to do is just taking penalties with Jordan, which is like terrible. But how realistic? Yeah. Dunk is just also like circle, but just or like with that.
It's a. So just pull the stick down, hold it. So you want to hold the stick down, and you'll see the meter fill.
Yeah.
And when it gets close to that white line,
Yeah.
you want to let it go. Hold it. There you go. Yeah, that's close enough.
Oh.
Circle to take that off. There you go.
Yeah. Well.
So X to pass, square to shoot.
Okay.
Good shot, right? You can also use the right stick to shoot if you hold it.
Yeah. It's all coming back. Getting beat by the Sixers. Damn.
Are you looking for a specific option?
No, just looking a little bit for that the players just like defense like that. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
LT. Yeah.
Yeah. So just
Yep.
I
LT.
grabbed the wrong time. And where can I just pick a play? Is that? with the-
I think it's on. I want to say that it's on RB now.
Everybody likes sweat in basketball games. Sweat all over the place.
We actually had too much sweat going on at the beginning, so we're bringing it back a little bit.
You have a sweat meter.
Yeah, there's just, you know, we actually know who sweats more than others.
Okay.
But we still just had too much of it on them.
Yeah.
Oh, there's my guy right there, Jamal Crawford. He went to
Yeah.
my college.
Really?
He went to Michigan.
Okay, cool.
Good block.
Yeah. I just keep jamming the wrong button. What is reach in? Like steal?
Square.
Square.
See, those used to be easy passes
Yeah.
last year. With you know, that balance has actually switched. We want you to play more. But your defense, notice how your defense is a lot. Ooh,
Oh, God damn it.
they are working you right now.
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah. Well,
One of the things that we have added in the game, you'll see that they do a lot more pull-up shots. So they'll not try to get to the basket all the time.
Okay, cool.
They'll find shots in the mid-range if that's what you're giving them.
yeah. Well, I play one more quart, and this is a game I want to have
You
at
have to
home.
you have to dive
yeah,
in.
And then
Yeah. So you run actual strategy plays a lot.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like dribbling all around, and
Yeah.
I play.
Well, you know, if you move the ball around right now with the guys, you'll see them make a lot of movement for you.
Okay, well that's yeah.
It's just if you just do the dribble, you don't see it. But if you move the ball into the right spot,
Okay.
so like it to the wing or to the corner,
Yeah.
you'll see a lot of movement come for you.
This is cool.
That's new,
Small
yeah.
clips, yeah.
JJ, JJ's money.
He's sometimes great, and then like
Well, that's the problem. Right? It's
Awful.
like, you know, he's not awful. It's just, you know, sometimes they give him a lot of pressure for him
Yeah.
to. Well, that's a good run. Feels good though, right? It's like
Yeah,
I mean, doesn't it feel smoother than last year?
it feels. It's more easy. Just
Yep.
yeah, well, there's so many options and things that you have to really dive into it. But it's like
But just the regular feel of the game.
yeah, it's not like they're bumping not so much against each other.
Yep.
It's like they have animation is more smooth. And where are you? Like your office in like Seattle or?
No, we're in San Francisco area,
Okay.
little north of San Francisco,
So it's-
kind of on the way to Napa.
Most like the LA players and the Warrior players.
It's
are coming.
Warriors
Yeah.
and maybe Sacramento,
Yeah.
the Kings.
Who's the best player? Like
In the game?
in like I heard like Messi's pretty good in FIFA. Like he's also like a really good player.
You know, I don't know
They
who
have,
the
like,
best.
championships
I don't know
or-
who the best one is because they usually don't come together. They
Yeah.
come like one guy comes and then he'll come and then you know some other guy will come, but they all come with their friends. They don't come with their teammates.
Ah, okay. No,
So-
because we always like to organize like just football players playing FIFA or Pro
Mm-hmm.
Evo against each other, but they don't want it
Yep.
because they're afraid that people talk about it or things like that. But probably they play a lot against each other.
Oh, I'm sure they do. I mean, I heard that at the Olympic, at the USA team,
Yeah.
when they go on retreat, in the evening they spend a lot of time playing 2K.
Okay, cool. Well, looking forward to 29th September just to get the game.
Well, you get it early if you pre-order.
Oh yeah, I get it early.
That's
That's the good
key
thing.
for it.
Okay, cool. Nou ja, goed. Rob, thanks for the interview and the first play session in Europe. I'm happy. Ja, het ziet er fantastisch uit. Het is wel een game. We hebben nu eventjes gespeeld, weet je wel. Ja, ik bedoel, je ziet het. Ik kan het nog niet zo goed. Dan moet ik weer in gaan duiken. Dus it's going to be busy times. All those games, you know, FIFA, NBA, Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty. Where did I get the time? But it looks lovely.
Good.
Great
Thank
job.
you. Thank you.